Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I hope everybody's having a great evening tonight, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Yes, we're going to be talking about the new Omnia ZRS from Norica. I'm a brake barrel guy, have been for years, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that brings to the market, and curious to get your guys' thoughts on it. The other things we're going to talk about, we got some admin work to do, kind of give you guys an update on what's happening with me. Let's go ahead and get started. Angie is actually out of town, so we don't have Angie tonight. It's kind of a bummer. Yeah, missed her already, but she'll be back, and hopefully, we're hoping, fingers crossed and all, she's gonna be able to come out and visit, and we'll be able to do some shows together, do some videos together out here before she goes back and takes care of her family again. So we'll see. Hey Joe, glad you're here. By the way, Joe, I need to give you a call because I'm about out of 1813s. Just a heads up. Okay. All right, so a couple little admin things. I'm feeling much better, as you guys have seen, started to see some stuff hit the channel, and I'm looking to do sort of day in the life of or behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if that interests folks or not, but if it does, let me know. If it's a complete total waste of time, then I just won't do it. But if you guys are interested, see the range, see where we live, see how we do things. I think it's kind of cool, and maybe you guys do too. If not, again, if it's a waste of time, I won't do it. I keep saying this, I should have the new contest up and going by Friday for GTA, so keep your eyes on that. We're giving away a couple 0dB moderators. I'm going to work through that, get that done. Frankly, I've come to realize with regards to the chemo that I get it on a Monday and Tuesday I receive the treatment. That week is just out. It's just awful that week. The second week I start feeling a little better, but really not in shape to go do much. And then now we're into that. It's been 2 weeks. We're starting into our third week. And yeah, that's when I start feeling sort of back to myself again. At least I can deal with the things that are going on that are a discomfort. And I can get out to the range and do stuff and be far more active. So this week, I think tomorrow we've got a good shooting day. So I'm going to go out and do as many videos as I can tomorrow. And then we've got wind. And so it's back to the office for admin. Then we're going to be jumping over to, so try and do some more work next week as June's already here. So, okay, sorry, got a text. That was an odd text to receive. All right, so that's sort of some admin stuff. And so the content has been a little light, at least on AirgunWeb, because I just haven't been able to get out to the range and do much. But that's changing. We've got 5 videos in the can this week. So we've got some stuff coming out, just so you guys know. Let's go ahead and jump into the whole Omnia ZRS discussion. And I know a lot of airgunners today are all PCP guys. That's what they've sort of what they just started with, and that was different for me. As an old airgunner, well, I'm not old, but 15 years in the sport, 16 years in the sport is, I got a little age on me there with the airgunning stuff. But I started just with brake barrels, and it was a struggle to find, to learn the technique, to figure out how to shoot the brake barrels with consistency. And frankly, they weren't all made awesome then. So not only did you have to find a gun that shot well, but then you had to learn how to shoot it well. And for folks that don't realize it, because I would talk about recoil with an air gun with a brake barrel, and they would look at me like I was stupid. But it does have a recoil. Let me talk about a couple things. One is lock time. One is recoil. So as I understand it, lock time is really from the time you pull the trigger to the time the projectile leaves the barrel. It's my doctor's office calling, so we'll just hang up on them and wait for the text. So if you're shooting a firearm and you pull the trigger, by the time you even hear it, that bullet is gone. I mean, you pull the trigger, it happens, it's moving 2,500 feet per second, 3,500 feet per second, 1,200 feet per second in a 22. So that's kind of on the edge, depending on how long the barrel is. But the projectiles are out. They're out and gone before you have a chance to really change their trajectory. With a brake barrel or an air gun, just say air gun in general, you've got 700-800 foot per second. So you actually, from the time you pull click, you actually can shift, move, wiggle, whatever, and change that point of impact pretty easily. I mean, just a fraction of a wiggle is going to throw that pellet off. When we're shooting pellets, for consistency, we're looking to get sub-MOA, right? That's the holy grail. We want to shoot sub-MOA out to whatever distance we're shooting, and just a fraction of a breath throws your shot off. Because the pellet is in the barrel for such a long time, you can actually have a pretty dramatic impact by just shifting your hold a little bit, and now you're not driving your shots in the same hole. Your point of impact is going to change. Now, you add to that situation movement. So PCPs really don't recoil that much. They recoil back, and that's it. That's your typical recoil. That's what we're all sort of used to. You can usually account for that. So when you're shooting, you want to maintain your sight picture. You pull, you shoot, you hold, and then you're done. A lot of people do this. So they're trying to see what happened after they pull the trigger, and they wonder why they don't have any accuracy. That's poor follow-through. Your follow-through to deal with that longer travel time of the projectile in the barrel, you want to hold your shot, hold your hold, shoot, and wait. And you sort of want to watch the pellet fly, hit the target, and then count to 2 or something, just to give yourself a little time to make sure that your follow-through is good. You learn that, not only will it help you shooting basically any air gun, but you use that same technique as you transition to firearms, you'll shoot firearms better too. Just I've seen that in my personal experience. I know if Angie was here, she'd tell you the same thing, that her firearm shooting has improved, and it's because more trigger time, and she's had to learn on a product that requires more from you to shoot well. Okay, so we have this normal recoil. We're used to that. Whatever. The brake barrels, as they have, essentially what you have. I wish I should have brought props. You have a cylinder, right? So that in that cylinder, you have a very heavy piston. At the end of the piston, you have a seal. So when you cock the gun, whether it's a side lever, under lever, or brake barrel, you're pulling that piston back and creating airspace, just air. That is your charge, okay? So that air is what you're going to compress very rapidly to send the pellet downrange. Now, I'm shooting at 4,600 feet. So like our results on the Omnia ZRS was about 650. Let's really quickly go and see what it's supposed to do, because I didn't even look at that. So I'm really quick go over to Pyramid Air. By the way, Pyramid Air provided that for me to shoot. That's doing an article for Airgun Depot, a definitive guide, as well as video for Pyramid Air, the one I just did. Let's see here. Let's see, and we should find it this way. Okay, I didn't even look at what it's supposed to do. So let's see what they say. 755 with 22. Now I was shooting 18. No, I was shooting 15.89. Excuse me. If we went down to like 11.9, like a hobby, but I think we'd hit that, and that's interesting because we're at 4,600 feet. So that charge that you're getting in your compression chamber is going to have, the air is going to be less dense than, say, at sea level. And I've seen this over and over and over. I can shoot a Gamma Magnum here, and I can shoot a Gamma Magnum down in Daisy's warehouse, and I'm hitting specs. There's spec numbers down there in the warehouse, and I'm not hitting them here. And the difference is the air, the elevation, thinner air. There's less volume of air molecules. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to make it simple here, but there's just less in there to compress and shoot the pellet. So I see anywhere between a 50 to 75 foot per second reduction on average when I'm shooting brake barrels. There's a lot of caveats there, but it shoots slower here than at sea level. But I'm getting 650. I actually hit 660 on one of my shots. So, it's 650 was about average. That is impressive. If they're saying 755 and 22, I'm thinking, okay, put some hobbies in it, we'll probably get close to that. I would imagine we get at least over 700, I'm sure. And if that's the case, yeah, we're pushing pretty good. It's about 15 foot-pounds what I was getting out of my gun. Okay, so go back here. What we got is we have the piston, we have the air chamber. When I pull the trigger, that piston goes forward, and it very rapidly takes that air, compresses it, which when the pellet can no longer hold the air, that's what drives the pellet out. So in a brake barrel, the way you get more power is to either accelerate that piston more quickly or have more volume. So like you take the original bone collector Gammo, it had a certain, I don't know what the numbers are, a certain diameter compression chamber. When they went to the bone collector second gen, I noticed like immediately they went with a larger chamber. So before it was like on par with, their Maxim type of thing, same sort of frame, chassis, whatever, just a wood stock, a little nicer and so forth. Power output was about the same. Now they've gained 5-6 foot-pounds by increasing the chamber size. So the cocking force is the same, but with more volume, they're able to drive that and create more power. So that's how that works. Now, when you fire that brake barrel, okay, remember we've got a pellet moving through the barrel, in this case, 650-ish feet per second. We got we got a pellet moving through the barrel, and when you fire, that piston goes forward, creates the pressure, the pellet's heading out, and then the piston slams into the front of the compression chamber with a lot of force, and that drives the gun forward. That's what causes the scopes to get thrown off the back of your gun. Back in the day, before all guns had stop pin holes in the receivers, I mean, we were just struggling all manner of things to get the scopes to hold still because they just eventually slide off the back. What I would do is I'd put the scope on and I'd take a pencil, like a mechanical pencil, and I would draw lines where my sights were, my mounts were, excuse me. And then if I saw the scope move at all, I knew that I had to reset my scope. We had things that you would clamp onto the rail in between your scope mounts. We had single mounts. It was just all manner of things you try to do to get that scope to not slide off the back of the gun. Now, if you've never shot a brake barrel or spending time with them, you only shot PCPs, all the stuff I'm talking about is like, oh my God, why would anybody want to shoot those? Actually, that makes a lot of sense today, frankly, which is sort of part of my question for the show today. Is it too little too late? I'll get to that here in a little bit. I don't know what your opinion on that. Be thinking about it till we get there. But so PCPs, you don't have any of this. It's like shooting a 22 long rifle. It's super easy. No recoil or very little recoil. Pellets generally go where you put them. If you do your part, the guns they're affordable. They shoot really well. I've got some JTS guns that I just got in. What are they, $300 or $400? I don't actually know. I'm really unprepared for that. Let me see. Let's see. The Aracuda. Okay, so the Aracuda is $319 or $419. Okay, so super affordable, nice quality PCP guns. If you want a regulated one, it's $420, right? So, in fact, if we look at this just for a moment, and we go back to this is $400. This is $420, right? So, too little, too late? I don't know. Depends on what kind of shooting you want to do. Now, with a PCP, you have a lot of other stuff going on too, though, right? So, all of these things, whether it's multi-pump, CO2, brake barrel, or spring, gas ram spring, same thing, or PCP, they have their pluses and minuses. Their good parts and their bad parts, right? So PCP, the gun is $420, but you're going to spend another $500 to fill it, right? So you need a compressor, or you need a scuba tank, or you need a hand pump. And if you hand pump it and you're fat and old like me and you just don't want a hand pump, you're either not going to shoot or you're going to buy a compressor. This is what it is, because it gets really old and really tiring to hand pump the doggone things all the time. And a lot of these guns now need more than 3,000, need 3,300, 3,400, 3,600, 4,300 PSI. So that's a lot of pressure. I mean, when you pump up your bike tire, you maybe go to 30 PSI, right? And we're talking 3,000 plus. So completely different dynamic. All right, so if you go with a PCP, we all know it's not just the gun, right? It's all the stuff that goes with it to make you be able to shoot the gun. So that still goes back over to our Omnia here, which is really sought to great effort to take the biggest, the biggest sort of hurdle to repeatable accuracy and just take it off the table. Now, if you watch the video, please go watch it. If you watch the video, I think Matt, it's a gas piston, Matt. I apologize. I'm like focusing on making sure everything's running, and I'm missing some of the chat. So if I miss the chat, you have a really important question, I do apologize. I'll try to keep my eyes on it. Anyway, so please forgive me if I don't get it. Maybe Angie, if you're still there, or Joe, if you're still there, there's like a really cool question that I'm just whiffing on, just text me. You guys got my number. Just text me. So anyway, the biggest hurdle to repeatable accuracy is that reverse recoil. We all can manage the recoil going in a shoulder, no big deal. But when that piston hits the front of the chamber, it throws the gun forward. All of this happens while the pellet's still in the barrel. So that's why we all talk about the artillery hold. It's the way you hold the gun, you let it do its thing, and you're hoping that it does the same thing every time you pull the trigger. So it's going to move around, it's going to jiggle and wiggle and all that stuff, but you want to let it do something, whatever it does, you want it to be consistent so that you got the pellet going in the same hole as much as possible. All right, so if you take recoil out of that, you take recoil away from brake barrels so that it shoots like a PCP, now you've got, all right, so you're single loading. There's a lot of PCPs that are single load, like take Air Force, it's a single shot, right? But it's, you crack it, load it, close it, shoot, right? Well, when I first pulled the trigger on this and it literally just went click, I felt absolutely nothing. And if you guys watch the video, you will see that I am quite excited, still am, quite excited about what this does for brake barrels, or at least this particular brake barrel. It's extremely impressive. Now, it's not the only gun that's ever done that. There have been other guns that have done it. I think Tom's got a custom, he brought it to American Airgunner one time. I think the gun's 10 grand. And it has two pistons that kind of, when you fire, they go together or somehow. I mean, it's a dual piston. You have to cock it twice to cock both pistons to make it work. Yeah, it's pretty incredible on that. Anyway, so I was going to look something up because I was going to look at the difference in price, because the only other gun I know of it was, well, I actually have one of the guns I got from JTS is supposedly recoilless. Hotson's done some recoilless stuff with their pistols. Basically what you're trying to do is let the action slide around. But those guns, while they were better, at least the ones, I mean, Ummerix had their stop shocks. There's a lot of people that have tried to mitigate the recoil. I've only seen it done to perfection twice. Once was the 54 Air King, and I don't even know if they have it listed. I wish I had one of these guns. Okay, they do. So the 54 Air King, and personally, if I ever am able to buy one, I want the one with I want the red laminate stock. I want this gun like bad. And I've asked Pyramid Air, but they said, in fact, I got the ZRS because I'd requested this gun. They sent me the ZRS instead. Anyway, this is $800. So the ZRS is as good, if not better, at mitigating recoil, felt recoil, as the Air King, which frankly blew me away. When I pulled the trigger and felt no recoil, I mean zero recoil, and that pellet just sailed right to the target where I was aiming, I was like, okay, if this has any accuracy to it, this thing's going to be really fun to shoot. Now, I chose to run it on my video. I chose to run it with the ATN optic. So I mounted the LTV. I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of the ATN products, but they have like an LTV version of their thermals too. The LTV is simply a simplified version of the optic. So the 4K Pro, it's the one I have is a 5-20, has tons of menu options, lets you set up different profiles. You can move it from gun to gun to gun as long as you're torquing the mounts down the same way. Your profiles should continue to work. So I can have it on my AR with the AR profile, move it over to my day state, pull up the day state profile, and basically be zeroed, which That's pretty stinking cool, frankly, right? I mean, that's like awesome. The LTV is a simplified version, so it doesn't have that. It's got a reticle, it's got like 3 or 4 options, and it's got photo record and picture record. And that's it. It's just super simple. And sometimes I just like simple like that because it's just one button, boop, and you're done. To me, I like it. That's why I like the LTV for this stuff. So, okay, so this combo, I wanted to show you guys how smooth the gun looked through the scope when I fired, because a brake barrel will completely distort the image. It'll rattle, shake, and you really don't see anything until everything stops moving, and then you see the results. This, you saw my heartbeat moving as much, if not more so, than the recoil of the gun. And this doesn't have a stop pin. So not only was I shooting a very heavy optic mounted with a 2-piece mount, it never moved. It gave me great accuracy the whole time, never moved, and it doesn't need a stop pin to stay put. Now, again, we go back to brake barrels. That doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. Even if you have a low-powered brake barrel, and you have any experience with it, you put a scope on it, if you don't have a stop pin or a little stop pad behind, it's going to move. It never moved. And it was absolutely repeatable accuracy over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's another thing that you just don't get with brake barrels. So I'm getting PCP-like accuracy and ease of shooting without needing a compressor, without needing a hand pump, without needing a scuba tank. Just shoot and go, or cock and go. That's it. That changes it. Now, I want to talk about the things on the gun that, and I'll get to this in my review, but I'm going to do an old school airgun review of this gun. I'm going to try and justify holding on to it for as long as possible, because I really want Angie to shoot it. She's able to come out. I want her to give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, Angie's saying that Diana is gorgeous. I want one so bad. I really, really want an Air King, a 54 Air King. Okay, what I don't like about this gun is I really, really dislike the stock. It's very uncomfortable. Now, this whole part here is all metal, right? So that is just, the gun's very heavy. I don't know what the weight is, but let's see real quick. Yeah, the gun without scope is 8 pounds. That's heavy. You add a 2-pound ATN on it or more, and you're 10 plus pounds on the thing. That's a lot. That's a lot of weight. Anyway, it's all metal. It's very blocky and chunky, and I don't know the mechanics inside. I'm not going to take it apart and try and figure it out, but it may be that it needs all of that. It may need all of that chunk to do what it does. But this is manufactured in Spain, guys. Just so you know, I've shot Norica guns in the past, I believe, and if I'm mistaken, please forgive me, but I believe after the transition from Beeman, where they were importing all the German stuff, the name was bought by a Chinese company. I think it's SAG, Shanghai Airgun Group, or I know they have the Beeman name now, but they had like a gold level gun, so they had an 850, gold 850, and I'd bought one from Cabela's. This is back when I lived in South Carolina, so we're going way back. And an 850, 22 cal 850. In fact, that was the gun, really, that sort of accelerated my entrance into this work, because I was so, like, it does 800 feet per second at 22. It's awesome. I bought a Crony, and I barely got 600, and now it's like, well, that's some garbage right there. You know, didn't know better. Anyway, yeah. That gun was actually made by Norica, I'm pretty sure, because their gold series guns were made by Norica, and their low-end guns were made in the Shanghai Airgun Group. Yeah, so I've actually shot the Norica guns before, and they were nice. It was nice then, and this is very nice. I just wish it was in a different stock. I wish I don't mind the form factor. I like a rifle. I'm happy with that. But if that was in a wood stock or synthetic stock that was just more ergonomically pleasing to shoot, I found that very uncomfortable. That little shoulder bit, that little bit here, it did not fit me comfortably, and maybe it will you. I got an odd body shape, fat down here, and well, I'm just fat everywhere. But anyway, you get the point. It's yeah, it didn't fit me well. I'll shoot it and enjoy shooting it, but I wish the stock was like a nice beach traditional wood stock or walnut stock with ambi cheek riser on it, or maybe heck, let's see, I was back over here with the JTS. I mean, this is the JTS Aracuda, just a simple stock, something like that. Of course, it had room for the brake barrel to work and all that other stuff. Would be cool. I don't know if just engineering wise that's not doable. I don't know. So it's one of those things we'll have to, maybe they'll hear some of this and they'll make some changes, or they'll incorporate this system in all of their other stuff. So let me see how it works. Best as I can find, and this is a good shot. Okay, you see that's you see that spot there. When you cock the barrel, this port here, the part that's right up against the rail, moves forward about 1.5 inches. So it actually, the barrel actually sits forward. When you pull the trigger, you can watch the barrel come back. And how they're dealing with the compression chamber hitting it and all that other stuff, I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how the mechanics inside the gun work. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I just don't know how they're doing it. I had an email from somebody who knows the inventor of the process. So maybe I can have a conversation, even if it's by email, or maybe Norica will reply to my email and I can learn a little bit more about how the gun works. So now I'm going to kind of turn to the chat here for a minute. Angie's asking, I wonder if it was more comfortable shot groups would be one hole. So first of all, so I have a picture of the shot guard. All right, so that's what I got. Now I was shooting 30 yards out of the box. Sort of my first. It was the first time I put this on paper. Now the bottom left target, other than the one that I pulled low, I got 4 shots. I got 3 shots in the same hole and one, right there. And that's, I don't know how big that bullseye is, but it's pretty small. I don't normally shoot brake barrels at 30 yards. I usually do them at 25, but I wanted to see how this did because I thought it could do better a little bit further out. My first group, which is there in the center, I had 3 or 4 shots touching at the top there. So I think with a little practice, learning how, all right, the trigger's going to do this, etc. Don't be so excited about the recoil and pay attention to what you're doing, etc., etc. In other words, do your job better, Rick. The groups may dramatically improve. Now, I've got to do my maintenance. I'm going to go through, I'll clean the barrel. I'll try a bunch of different pellets. I want to try the H&N pellets. I did a video where I did okay, you guys will see it. If you watch the short I put up on YouTube today, you kind of get an idea. I got 3 pellets that are precision pellets. They're like mainstream super precision pellets. JSP 1813s, and they're the go-to, right? Joe, love you, Joe, man. Awesome, dude. 1813s. They are really good. And then you have H&N came out with their version of an 1813, and I've found them to be pretty good. And now JTS has their dead centers, which are 18-1, which are pretty good. So are they going to shoot the same in all the guns, or one's going to be a little bit better than another? I don't know. I've shot 2 videos so far, and really the consensus is they all shoot about the same. Now, ideally, if you're really going to find out how well something shoots, one group does not make consistency. So let's shoot 4 or 5 groups and get an average, right? I mean, if you read a shooting magazine and a guy's doing a review, he talks about the high and low and average of his group size based on the shooting he does. So one group, and I a lot of people do it. I used to do it, so I can't throw rocks here. Angie, it could be if I was more comfortable with the gun. I think me being more comfortable with the gun is just going to take me shooting it more. So, which I am going to go do. So we'll see. We'll see if this improves. We have our starting point, right? This is why I like doing it this way. I'll get a soapbox for just a minute, okay? Because I get people that talk to me about this stuff. So-and-so shot, they're shooting sub-MOA at 100 yards with their Gamma 177 using PBA Platinum bullets. And I'm going, yeah, no. Just sorry. If it were to happen, it was maybe a 2-shot group by accident. Because physics just don't allow for it. I mean, it's just not going to happen. That's not a skill set making that work. It's the luck of the draw that just happened to happen. I have shot, I don't know, I can tell you. Let's just look. Now, it's not a perfect number. Let's see. My studio. I have, does it say how many? Trying to see how many videos I have. I have like a bunch. Well, I don't know, maybe Angie, you can find it, but I've got maybe, yeah, I bet you I've got 1,400 videos. Now, not all of them are reviews. Not all of them were done by me, but let's just say 1,000 of them were done by me. That's a lot of shooting, guys. That's a lot of shooting on camera, and a lot of testing that went into being able to shoot on camera. So, yeah, that's a lot. Oh, there it is, 1.3K videos. So about over 1,300 videos. Okay, a lot. It's a lot of videos. So, what I used to do in the beginning was that's what I thought you were supposed to do. I watched other reviewers do it, so that's what I thought was the right course of action. You shoot a bunch of targets, you have your best one, that's the one you show. And I understand, it makes good sense. But I've stopped doing that, and I'll tell you why. Because one good group out of 10 means the gun shot bad 9 times. Right? Right? I mean, am I getting that wrong? Or maybe not bad. It didn't shoot as well 9 other times. Would you rather know the odd one good group, or would you rather have a consensus of its overall performance on an average? What would you prefer to see? Me, I want to know the average. Okay? I want to know, it's like I watch tech videos and you can cherry pick things to make something look way better than it is. But when you have an average across a wide selection of material, that's a far better way to look at a product's performance. And that's what I want to do with the airgun stuff. And that's why when I get a gun like the ZRS here, and I take it down to the range, and I just shoot it, and I show you guys what it's getting, how I'm getting it. If I've got 1,000+ videos under my belt, and let's just say 700-800 air guns under my belt at this point, maybe 600. I have a pretty good idea of how to shoot the doggone things. I'd like to show you guys the process from beginning to end. If we're getting okay groups now, and then after I get some more trigger time, that drops to dime-sized groups on average. Well, now that tells me something. A little trigger time, finding the right pellet, and we figure out how to unlock the potential. That stuff I really enjoy. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And as a consumer, I would much rather have that journey saying, all right, this is what I got out of the box. Well, heck, that's what I'm getting out of the box. And then 3 months later, this is what I'm getting now. This is how I'm getting it. To me, that's really helpful. I mean, to me, that's useful. And that's what I want to be with this stuff, right? Anyway, done my soapbox. So on the target stuff, the next video I'm going to do with this, we'll do more pellets and more testing. Going back to the pellets I was looking at, I have back to the 3 precision pellets. What I want to do, and I haven't done this yet, I just did a like testing them out video. But on my second video, I realized that we're going to have to do more in-depth testing, because one group, one test doesn't really tell us anything. I bet Angie would say, or would also agree, that she's had times where she shot a group with a pellet and it was awesome. That was just amazing. She went back to use that thing and it was like, not awesome. What happened? Well, such is the life of airgunning, isn't it? So I want to take, I'm going to go back through the guns I've already shot. I'm going to do those again on another video, but I want to start taking all my 22s that I have and start doing these testing with the 3 precision pellets we have, and going through and shooting like 4 groups with each, and then we'll have a good idea of which pellet works best in what gun. I think that's going to be really cool. When I go back to do this one again, 15.89s, we have the JSB 15.89s, H&N has a 15.89, and maybe we throw the Hades in there too. So we have like a sampling of a hunting pellet, 2 precision pellets, and let's see what kind of average results we get. To me, I think that sounds fun and informative. So yeah, I'm curious what you guys think of that idea. If you think it's a waste of time, you think, no, Rick, that sounds pretty cool, or Rick, you're wasting your time. We just want to see the best group. Move on, dude. You're making more work for yourself. If just let me know any of those that sits with you guys. And look, we want to create content that you guys actually want to watch. So if you let us know what you like, we'll try and do it. All right, guys. So the last question I have, I'm kind of gushing over this airgun, right? Kind of gushing over the fact that we've got this as an option, that we can go out and take our brake barrel, at least this brake barrel, shoot off a rest, shoot with precision, repeatable accuracy, and no recoil. All right, so PCP-like performance in the sense of shootability in a brake barrel. Holy grail stuff. But the other question is it too little too late? So my question is to you guys, whom I know most of you guys probably shooting PCPs, would you be at all enticed to try a brake barrel that gave you that PCP performance without all of the necessary gear you had to have to make the gun work? You just cock it, pellet, go. So what do you guys think? Is it, this is awesome, glad we have it, or is it too little too late? So I'll wait till you guys can answer in the comments. Curious, I'll give a few minutes here and see what we got here. In the meantime, I'll answer some questions. Let's see. Jungle Host Survival's asking, I'd like to know if dieseling is really bad for brake barrels. Oh my gosh, yes. I've told the story about me doing the maintenance or service. I was the service department for Hots on Airguns for about a year and a bit. And I had so many guns come in with burned out seals. Due to dry firing, dieseling, people putting WD-40 in it. Look how fast I can make my pellets go. And also bad pellets. So between bad pellets, dieseling, people doing stupid stuff, breaking their guns, would blow out the seal and have to replace the seal. Happened a lot. So yeah, it's very bad for your gun. Yeah, it just burns it up. So don't do it unless you want to break stuff. So yeah, Don Peer, I'm with you, Don. I'd be interested if it wasn't so ugly. Yeah, I'm like there. I don't like the aesthetics of the gun at all. I'll shoot it. Here's something, Don, I'll share with you that gets me through a lot of things like this. When I'm shooting it, I ain't looking at it. So that sort of helps me get past the visual ugliness on a product and just shoot the doggone thing and not worry how it looks. But I'm with you, dude. Yeah, I don't like the aesthetics, and it's very heavy. It shoots great, and I hope that they'll have other models that could maybe lighten it up a little bit and give us a more traditional stock. I'd like that. I don't mind the pistol grip. That rear stock is just miserable. I don't like it. I would almost rather to have had them put just an AR, mil-spec AR connector on it than a standard AR stock, because then at least you could put whatever you want on it. That would be cool. That would be, to me, more useful, frankly. Let's see. Matt saying Breakbarrel, yes, it's accurate. Tactical Jackalope saying there are days I loved spending time with my hot sun Breakbarrels. Tactical, I tell you what I gotta do, man. I have got some Breakbarrel work that's come in, and I'm kind of excited. I've been waiting to feel well enough to actually do the energy to shoot the dog on things. But one of the guns I have two of them new in the box. I had them from Airgun Pro Shop. They're just sitting in my Connex. I have two of the Hatsan Carnivore 30 cows. And that gun, I haven't even taken them out of the box. I hope they're okay and the gas rams haven't leaked out. But I'm really hoping that those are shooting good, because that is a really fun gun. But you talk about a workout, whew, 135 work you out. But I've got one of those. I want to go shoot it because those were awesome guns. I remember working with them to develop that gun. And yeah, in fact, the whole Carnivore line that I named those guns, I worked with Blaine. I missed those times, Blaine, by the way, working together with you guys. But I worked with him. We came out to my place, shot him out in the desert. And this was in Lake Havasu. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I remember talking around the kitchen table saying, man, you guys got the 30 cal stuff going. Put it on that 135. It won't go fast, but you'll have the only big bore brake barrel on the market. And that's one's bragging rights, but it's going to be a novelty that sells really well, I guarantee you. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's happened. Just a great gun, fun to shoot. Just miserable to cock the doggone thing. Angie was saying, yeah, if you watch the video, you notice he changes his hold and rests the gun on the rest. Yeah, it shoots like a PCP. And probably that weight that I don't like so much probably helps with the stability in general. So maybe they need that weight for that. I don't know. I don't know anything about the thing you're talking about, Tactical. I knew they picked up Norica Airguns. I don't know if they picked Norica. I know sort of how those distributorships work. So I wouldn't say that Pyramid Air aggressively went out and picked Norica. I think there's probably a mutual decision to, hey, we want to get our guns in the U.S. Will you carry them? And I think that's probably more what happened. I'm just guessing, but knowing how those things work, it's probably that. Reximex. Yeah, I'll look it up after the show. I don't know anything about it. But if this is successful and other companies crack the nut as well as Norica has, maybe doing it in a different way, that can get us down to the $250 price point. And Angie, can you imagine, I'm talking to Angie now, can you imagine like the Bone Collector recoilless with the multi-shot magazine? Come on now. You talk about something awesome, that would be awesome. So that would be cool. I'll look it up after the show. I don't know anything about it. Maybe they're wanting some coverage and I can work something out with it. It'd be kind of cool. Let's see if we got any more comments. Timmy, I can't. He's so broke he can't afford the burger to go with the helper. Yeah, I remember living in Vermont. I was already grown up. I moved to Vermont when I was 18, and it was tight going there at the family, and we ate a lot of hamburger helper. Let's see. Got anything else here? Boy, that Carnivore. I got to get that out. I got to get that out of that thing. Maybe I'll try to do that this week. I've got some more JTS guns. They sent me some of the Breakbarrels, which I'm interested to shoot. And then if I could somehow, I don't know how to do it, but if I can somehow get Pyramid Air to agree to an extended forever loan or donation of that 54 Air King. I mean, I don't know about you, Angie, but that is a sweet looking gun, man. Whew. Needs to be yellow and black, but I'll take red and black too. So, all right. Let's see if we got any questions here. I'm still waiting for you guys if you have any comments on if we're looking too little too late with the Norica, or if it's doesn't matter, it's 6 1/2 dozen the other, or whatever. I'm curious as to y'all's thoughts on the whole air gun or the brake barrel side of things. If you think they're a waste of time, or are they worth taking a look at if they can overcome that difficulty in the repeatable accuracy. Let's see. Jungle Host Survival saying, why don't they make more brake barrels in the 30 cals? Because they don't have the power to push the pellet. The 135 is, all right, so if you look at the Hotson line of guns, they have the 85-95, which are built on the same. All right, if I'm slightly off here, forgive me. It has been many, many years since I worked with them and actually did all the maintenance and repair on the guns and the warranty stuff. So if I'm a little off, have grace on me, okay? The 85 and 95 were basically the same chassis with different groceries on them. They were essentially, if you're going to kind of think about Gammo's line of guns, be like the Maxim. You put your entry level sort of basic air gun power. Then you would go to like the 125. 125 was longer, much longer. If you look at like a 125 versus a 95, it's like 6 inches longer, and it's all chamber. Remember, if we go back to the beginning, if you weren't here, follow me here. If we go back to the beginning, Maggie, I'm in a show, Mags. Angie, tell Maggie I'm in a show. Anyway, the size of the chamber is your charge. So you make that bigger, you push it hard and fast enough, and it drives the pellet out the barrel with more power, right? So the 125 extended the compression chamber, and that's where you got more power. The 135 not only had the longer chamber, but made it fatter. So now you have a lot more volume. Nobody's doing that. So nobody has a gun they could put a 30 cal barrel on it and have any sort of accuracy, or, well, actually might not be right, and have any sort of real power. The Hotson does about 500-ish, 550-ish. And if we were going to look at, let me switch, I'll get the calculator up here in a minute. If we just looked anecdotally, all right, so I'm going by memory here, and it's probably many, many years since I did this. If you guys want a really cool muzzle energy calculator, I'll throw the link here. It's a Pyramid Air link. So let's say we're shooting the 44.75, 30 grains, and we're doing them at 550 feet per second. That's 30 foot-pounds, which is that's about right. Maybe if you got the 600, which I know they were really trying to get to the 600, now you're at 35 foot-pounds. Up here, I'm not going to get that because of the air, but down where Angie's at, she could. She had to get her husband to come out and cock the gun for her, but that would be fun to watch anyway. Angie loves it when I send her like super powerful brake barrels. She just is so excited, jumping up and down. Calls me with great thankfulness about being able to review another ultra magnum brake barrel. She loves it. It's her favorite thing in the world, I think. Right, Angie? Okay. But that's why you don't see it. I think a lot of manufacturers have abandoned brake barrels in general. Not that they're not making them. They're making them. They're absolutely making them. Doesn't mean they're making them well. Gammo is really putting some effort in. I think as far as just like a solid brake barrel without taking the zero recoil off the table for a minute, but just a solid brake barrel. From what I have shot, and it hasn't been a lot lately, the Gammo guns have been the most consistent, most accurate, the most pleasant to shoot. That's just, yes, they're a sponsor, but it doesn't change the fact that that's just the case. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't watched Steve's video, but the 30 cal is beastly. It's beastly. Yeah, really, really cool. Actually, my favorite version of that was actually the spring version, because you throw a good spring tune on that, and it just It's a cream puff of an air gun. But they've gone all gas ram now, so the recoil's kind of miserable. Angie's reacting to my comments on the Ultra Magnum brake barrels. Let's see what we got here. One of Cape Squirt's asking, can you or Hot Son provide regulators for the guns? You'd have to just check directly with Hot Son on that. Yeah, just give them a call, try and reach out to them, see if they can help you out. Let's see. Yeah, Black Road's Airgun is saying if it had a traditional stock, I bet it would have a following. Yeah, I mean, I think if they can get the stock, a traditional stock, I think they're going to have something really, really doing good on that. So, let's see. Tactical Jackalope saying Crawl has some nice brake barrels. I tried them when they first became, imported from Pyramid Air. I hope they've improved, but I haven't shot. That's 6 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. I'd shoot them. I'd absolutely shoot them. So, by the way, I wanted to throw out an invitation that depending on weather and how I'm doing and whatnot, I get a lot of questions from people about, like I had a gentleman I'm going to call after the show asking about a particular gun. Should he buy it? There's very little experience with air guns in general. And, depending on what review you watch and who's shooting the gun and etc., boy, you can be convinced that one particular thing's just the greatest thing since sliced bread. You go out and buy it, get it, and go, wow, I'm not getting what they're getting. And then you realize or find out they've got, another cost of the gun and upgrades, mods, and other tooling just to make the gun do what they said it could do. And yeah, what would be really awesome is the ability for people to come and actually put their hands on an air gun, or 50 air guns, in a weekend, to really understand this is what I want. So I am actually looking to create something like a boot camp, airgun boot camp, where we can have 4 or 5 folks out over a weekend, and we go out and have breakfast and shoot air guns, and have lunch and shoot air guns, and have dinner and shoot some more air guns over the course of a weekend. And I've got a couple hundred air guns sitting in my personal Connex, and pulling out all those different options so people could shoot a Hammer, they could shoot a Texan, they could shoot the Gauntlet, they could shoot the Day State Red Wolf, they could actually go through all of these variations of guns so that they actually know, wow, that performance is exactly what I expected, or okay, this is not what I expected, so that when they go and drop the money on whatever they're going to get, they actually have some real world grit and sort of understanding of what they're getting into. I don't know if you guys like that idea. I think it'd be fun. I love talking about air guns. You guys, I come up here and do it every week as long as I'm feeling okay. And I'm going to yammer for an hour straight. An hour straight talking smack about air guns. So obviously I like to do it, right? But I really like to show people how they shoot and get them behind the trigger. I enjoy it a ton. If you guys think that's a cool idea, and maybe a couple of you guys want to come out and visit, then I think that would be awesome. And we may create some spaces in time where we're going to do an airgun boot camp, and folks can come out and do that. I think it'd be a hoot. So we'll see. We'll see if it's something. Maybe we can schedule Angie to be here at the same time. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Okay. I'm going to check the chat one more time here, and then we're going to wrap it up because we are right about at the hour. Richard Gonzalez saying, I wish Gamma would make a Swarm in 30 or 25 cal. Yeah, and the Gamma beats Hot Suns hand down. Last Hot Suns I've shot, I would have to agree with you. Objectively, it's just the case. And they do make some 25s, just so you know. You have to buy them direct from Gamma USA, though. And I've got to get the Hunter Extreme Pro out. All right, so if you haven't been to Gamma USA's website in a while, or ever, and you think the only place you can buy Gamma products is Pyramid Air or a distributor or like a Walmart, you got to go to their website, right? One, you get really good deals. and you'll get some exclusives. So if we go down to the Gammo.com exclusives, we can see that we have the Magnum GR N25. That's a spring gun. You can disassemble it and tune it and turn that into an absolute cream puff of an air gun. I'm going to do that with mine. I'm excited to actually tune a Springer again. You really can't do much with a gas ram gun. They are what they are. They hit hard. They have a real sharp recoil. But a spring gun, you can do a lot with a spring gun to just tame it down, increase the consistency, and make it just easier to cock, easier to shoot, more fun to shoot. It's a lot of fun when you tune up your Springer. It's cool. The other gun they have, which is awesome, and it looks like it's on a heck of a sale right now, is this guy right here. I have one of these. Where's my picture? I have one of these. Is it going to open up? No. Well, never mind that. I'm not going to show you the big picture because it won't let me. That's an awesome gun. It's single shot break barrel, old school. It's their Magnum in a wood stock. It's their old Hunter Extreme, which, gosh, I have a 177, 22, and 25 made in the UK Hunter Extremes as a set that I have. But this is a really awesome gun for $260. That's a heck of a deal. I got to get mine out and shoot it again because that's awesome. Let's see what they got. Well, it's on Memorial Day sale. That makes sense. Yeah. But if you want like some really quality brake barrels, and you want to buy direct, like if you're looking at some Gamma stuff, then yeah, I mean we're looking at some really good deals here. Let's see what else they have. They've got the Gen 3i Swarm. I liked it with the sights, frankly. Swarm Tactical looks kind of fun. Well, I haven't looked at this in a little bit. Anyway, but if you're looking for a 25 cal Gammo, they have them here. It's this guy right here. So, cool gun, fun to shoot. Yeah. So anyway. Okay, let's see. Let me check this thing real here. I guess that's going to be it, guys. I'm just kind of looking through here. You're welcome, Richard. Anyone, anytime I could help. Angie, you want the Hunter Extreme? I have one. You have to come get it, though. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We're right at 7:30. Thank you, guys, for coming out and hanging out with me this evening. I hope that the discussion on the whole brake barrel thing was interesting. I think a lot of people, they don't know how they work. So, going to that first part of the video, talking about the mechanics and how they actually function could be useful to folks. This whole zero recoil is as game-changing, maybe not quite as game-changing as the multi-shot magazine that works, but it's right up there. If somebody can combine the two, the magazine with the zero recoil, okay, that's gonna be very interesting. Keep the price $300, $350 or so. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. I hope somebody can do it. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me. Appreciate y'all very much, very, very much. I'm very appreciative. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to be here and do this. Wouldn't be able to have Angie working, my sister working, and Maggie working. So, yeah, you guys helped make it all happen. So thank you. That's gonna be it for tonight. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week.